What's up, guys and girls? So this is part 3 of my UK mental health hospital abuse experiences. Part 1 and 2 were really well received. So yeah, people said for me to make more. So here's part 3. And if you are new today, hello, I really would, recommend you watch those videos first, because this would make so much more sense if you did. And you can watch those videos here or link in the description. And I really, 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 really would appreciate it if you could press that subscribe button, because I'm very, very, very passionate about the UK mental health system, and I'm making these videos to raise awareness of what goes on and to also inspire people to never give up. And if you are a reader, I've almost finished my memoir about, about the fact that I spent so long locked up being abused in UK mental health hospitals. And you can read the free 15-page preview of this book by clicking on the link in the description. So in my other videos I talked about the fact that I was locked up at Roycroft Clinic in a scandal for nearly 5 years, between 12 and 17 years old. I was there between 29th of January 2007 and I think it was the 11th of December 2011. Now, that's a ridiculously long time. Never got an apology, never really got a reason for it. But, I left eventually, and where I went to was somewhere called Woodlands Unit in Attleborough in Norfolk. And the place was okay, actually. It wasn't a secure place. You could go out with staff at first, but I could go out when I wanted, really. I used to just go out and go to cafes and explore the area, and it was okay. It was a bit more freedom, there wasn't any like strip searching and stuff like in Roycroft. There wasn't that abuse. There wasn't abuse there in Woodlands. Some of the staff were a bit homophobic and a bit nasty, but not to that level of that other place. The doctor at Woodland Unit even said that you don't even need to be in a mental hospital. And so he quickly arranged for me to leave there. When I turned 18, he said, you don't need to be locked. You don't need to be in a mental hospital anymore. But you're institutionalised, so I'm going to send you to like a supported accommodation so you can, adjust to the community again. Which was a good idea. I kind of agreed with that. So that's where I went. So after that, I went to a place called Garrow House in York. I think that place is shut down, I'm not sure. And I think at the time that place was supposed to be like a supported accommodation place. There was always staff on site. You got your own room. You could like do your own cooking when you wanted. You could go out when you wanted to an extent. Like you couldn't just open the door and leave. But if you asked, and if you weren't on a section, like I was still on a section, but if you asked and arranged it, you could go out. So yeah, again, it was a lot more freedom. But the doctor at this place, I hated. She was a grade A arsehole. And I told her that. Because she took away my freedom. When I first went there, I was expecting everything to remain the same. Like, you need to understand what it was like. I was just come from a place where, for the first time in so many years, I had my freedom back. I could just listen to Eminem, blast Eminem. I could just listen to Lil Wayne. I could wear my baggy hoodies and chains and watches. I could express me being me. I could go out. I could do what I wanted, basically. To an extent. Not everything, but to an extent. And the doctor said, so come here, like there's a protocol of you have to stay in for, I think it's about a month. You are not allowed out or something for a month. And I thought that was disgraceful. I said, I've come from a place where I value my freedom, and you're taking away my leave. You're taking away the fact that I used to go out on my own at the other place, but here you're saying that I can't. And I rebelled against that. I didn't. I escaped. I escaped a few times because it wasn't a secure place. Like I said, it was like a supported accommodation, but the door was locked. There was like a short fence, and there was plastic chairs, like there was like a conservatory area. And since the fence was really quite low down, I thought, fuck this. So I went in the garden, I I stacked plastic chairs on top of each other, and I just jumped on them and then just hopped the fence. And they called the police, and I handed myself into the police because I ended up scared, walking about York as an 18-year-old at night. I was vulnerable and I was scared, and I came back. And I was punished. They said, you're going to be here longer now, and, etc., etc. And some of the staff were horrible to me. Like, I said, look, I've done nothing wrong, and I've come here, and the first thing you do is restrict my liberty, is restrict my freedom. And my solicitor got involved, and they said, look, this person has literally had loads of unescorted leave, like in the other place, and she's come to this place, and you've taken it all away. Why? And all this doctor's response was, it's like the protocol, we need to get to know you. I thought, fuck that, I don't want to get to know you. You need to trust me, I kept escaping. I regret it because it didn't end well for me, because I was put back in like secure services. I was put back in a low secure unit in Hunter Combe Hospital in Market Wheaton. I think that place is shut down. Abuse did go on there. I say it how it is. It wasn't as bad as Roycroft Clinic, but it was an abusive environment. The staff mocked patients. The staff laughed at patients in distress. The staff encouraged patients to self-harm. The staff made vindictive remarks about my sexuality. They made rude remarks about the way I dressed. They made remarks that I was an easy target for an assault. And no wonder you got abused and stuff like that. I absolutely was petrified there, because there was a couple of patients there that were unwell and were violent, and I got beaten up by a patient there regularly, and I kept saying that. I kept writing complaints. I kept saying, I feel scared of my life here. I feel really at risk. Can you please move me hospital, or can you please let me out of the mental health system? For God's sake, I'm not a risk. I'm not violent. I don't hurt people. Why am I here? And basically their response for me being in that low secure unit was the fact that I kept escaping, and that I wasn't following the rules in the other place, and that I was a risk to myself because of the fact that I was still 18 years old, and the fact that if I was to live independently in the community, I would get abused, or I would be at risk of serious harm. That's what all my psychiatric reports say. I still say that's bullshit, because I could have gone back to live with my dad. I don't know why they kept me locked up for so long. And I guess I'll never know. I guess that is something that I am slowly coming to terms with, but it's still such a long time, because I was at this I was at this Hunter Combe Hospital for about 9 months. So I was 19 by the time I left there. And like I said, there was abuse there, and I don't want to go into it, but it wasn't on the same level as Roycroft. But it was more psychological abuse. And even starvation tactics. Like, sometimes the staff used to, exert the power by saying, oh, sorry, you're like 3 minutes late for dinner, you're not having any dinner today. Stuff like that, it can easily be done, because how can you complain about that? Because if you write a complaint, the complaint goes to the inner staff, and then they might get rid of it, which they do. Or nothing will be done because the staff member's like, that didn't happen. Abuse goes on in these places all the time. So I was there, and then I was 19. I did a few good things there. I ended up getting this tattoo, which I really like. And I think I got this one there as well. I had to go with a member of staff because I was institutionalised and I didn't want me to escaping again. But yeah, I didn't like it there. But anyway, so once I left there, I went to a place called Hawthorne Court in Beverley, East Yorkshire. That was an interesting place. I think it still remains. I think it's under the guise of a different name now. I liked it there. It was okay. Again, I wasn't sure why I was locked up. I didn't know why I was there. I didn't know why am I here, because like I was surrounded by a lot of older people. Like, I was surrounded by um, you know, older people, like people in the 40s, 50s, 60s. There wasn't many people my age group. But the good thing is I met my best friend there of all time, and all these years, 9 years later, we're still talking, and I really appreciate her, and she's my best friend, and that's a good thing that came out of me being there. And also, I met my first girlfriend while I was in there on a dating site, and we had brilliant experiences. So there was some good to come out of it. But again, I didn't know why I was there. Even the staff said, "I don't know why we can't. I don't know why you're not in the community." Like, you see, what you need to understand about the mental health system is that it isn't just one member of staff's opinion. The whole staff team could think, "Oh, this person doesn't need to be here." Yeah, and that happens a lot. It happened when I was in it happened way back, even when I was in Woodlands. The staff were saying, you don't need to be in a mental hospital. But it's not necessarily just down to the staff. The doctor, my heart goes out to that doctor at Woodlands. Reminds me of Gandhi. He was a short Indian guy, and I really respect him. He even said to me, I'm going to discharge you completely off your section, which he did. And he put me in a supported accommodation where that doctor said, I don't think you should be going out because you're too institutionalised. So it's down to the doctor, But yeah, Garrow House. God, I'm getting mixed up. I've been in that many places. Which one? What are we up to now? Oh, yeah, Hawthorne Court. Yeah, it was okay. I learned a lot of cooking there. I mean, you could go out when you wanted. I treat the place like a B&B. I treat the place like a bed and breakfast. And I told the staff, I said, I'm getting a good deal here because, I'm going out all day. I just used to go to Beverley Market. If people don't know where Beverley is, it's a really nice market town, just outside of Hull in East Yorkshire. I was from Hull originally, I moved away. But yeah, it's actually a really nice place, Beverley. And it's got a really, really, really nice rural fish and chip shop in Beverley. And there's a really nice pub. I think it's called the Black Horse, and it's just near the market. It's a really good pub. They do nice dinners there. But yeah, I started to feel a bit more like Michelle. I started to feel like I could express myself more there. Like I started to be able to dress more me. Like I started listening to more rap music, do you know what I mean? And just dressing more me, like hip hop and, Versace watches and, necklaces and chains and that. Because I like hip hop, I dress hip hop. And the staff kind of were okay with that. Like, the staff were nice to me there. Like, the staff said, you don't need to be here, but, we're just going to treat you like anyone else. There was meals provided for you, or you could cook your own meals. Most of the time, I cook my own meals. Yeah, that I was there, and it came to a stage where the social services got involved now. Yeah, and they even said, "Why on earth are you being locked up for all this time?" Because by now I was 19, yeah, and it was getting ridiculous. The fact that I would have been locked up since I was 12, yeah, until I was 19. They didn't know really why, and there any reasoning, because the original reason for me to be locked up was the fact that I was bullied at secondary school really badly, okay, and I was beaten up and I was made to feel shit, and there's also other abuse going on. A friend of a family, I won't go into that too much, but I lost my shit. I took a knife to my school and I threatened people with it. I did not hurt anybody with it. I said, if you don't stop bullying me, basically I'll kill you. That's what I said, and I wrote it down, and I was struggling. I didn't kill anybody. I didn't stab anybody. I threatened to. that is what originally got me locked up, and I think it was harsh. I do agree it's a crime. I shouldn't have done it, but I still believe that, you know, many years in the system is a bit ridiculous. So yeah, so I left the place in Beverley to a supported accommodation place called Rosemead House, I think it's called. I can't give the street address away because it's a supported accommodation for people with, you know, mental health problems and learning disabilities. Now, yeah, I don't have any bad words to say about the people there. The staff are compassionate. The staff cared. It wasn't a locked place. You could come and go as you want. There was care, you know, if you wanted support cooking, it was there, but you had your own flat basically, and the staff monitored you. So it was like supported accommodation. I did okay there, but at that time I was like really rebellious. Like I turned 20 and I was like really fucking rebellious. Like I was on a, you know, fuck this system kind of thing, because I did not understand why it had taken them so long to release me. And I was just on a fuck the system. So I got myself evicted, to be honest. Like, I didn't follow the rules. I used to put, you know, sneak alcohol into my room, and I was smoking weed in my room, and I ended up really getting depressed because the girl I was seeing ended up breaking up with me because she met someone else. And, you know, I really was suicidal, and I really slit my wrists deeply, and it needed, you know, 9 stitches in that arm. And, you know, the staff at this place took me there, and they supported me through the breakup, and I felt supported there. But like I said, I was on a self-destruct, and I ended up getting myself evicted, and I ended up living at my dad's house. And that is another thing, because technically I was homeless, and that's what the next video is going to be about. Like, I was homeless, what happened, how did I survive, and what happened after that. Anyway, yeah, it's been a long video, but you can't basically talk about 10 years of your life in any very much less condensed, because this is an absolutely condensed version. Like I said, if you are interested in reading and learning more about this scandal, which it was, you can click the link in the description and download a completely free 15-page preview of this upcoming book, because I am an author first and foremost, and I love what I do. Thank you for listening. If you've got to the end of this video, press that subscribe button to stand up for mental health awareness and also to stop abuse in the system. It's been Michelle. I really appreciate you watching this video. Please stay safe. People do care. I care. And love and light. Bye for now.